In the deep silence of space, a massive alien station floated near Jupiter's orbit. Its name was Thalnura Prime, a city of light and metal, home to hundreds of alien species. But in one dark corner of the station, where no light reached, sat a lonely girl. Her name was Ziva. She didn't walk like others. One leg was metal, and her left arm had wires running through it. Her back was slightly bent, and her skin, once smooth and bright, had turned pale with time. She spoke to no one, and no one spoke to her. Most aliens avoided her. Some whispered when she passed. "That's the broken one. She's dangerous. She should have been shut down years ago." They thought she couldn't hear. But she did, not with her ears, with her mind. Ziva was telepathic. She could feel every emotion, every thought, every cruel word. Like knives in her head, she was only 13. Ziva had no family, no friends. The engineers who built her long ago had disappeared. Now she lived in silence, hidden in a cold maintenance room filled with broken machines. Her only companions were the humming walls and her own thoughts, until one day, a human ship arrived. The ship was small, carrying only a team of 6 humans. They were here for tech repairs and trade deals, nothing important, nothing dangerous. Or so it seemed. One of them was a young man named Elliot Varn. He wasn't a soldier, he wasn't a captain. He was just an engineer, quiet, curious, and kind. While the others drank at the space bar or argued with alien merchants, Elliot liked to explore the old, quiet corners of the station, and that's how he found her. It was by accident. He walked into the dark storage hall looking for a missing data terminal. His boots echoed softly on the metal floor. As he turned a corner, his flashlight fell on a small figure sitting behind a broken console. She didn't move. Her eyes were open but empty. He stepped closer. "Hey, are you okay?" No reply. Then, suddenly, a voice entered his mind. "Why are you not afraid?" Elliot jumped back. "What?" He looked around. "No speakers, no comms. Just her. You are human," the voice said again inside his head. "Humans fear what they don't understand. So why don't you fear me?" Elliot slowly crouched down. "Are you talking to me in my mind?" The girl gave the smallest nod. Elliot had heard of telepaths before, but never met one, and never like this. There was no anger in her voice, no pride, only sadness. And curiosity. He didn't walk away, instead he smiled. "I'm Elliot. What's your name?" Silence. Then Ziva. A pause. "Are you here alone, Ziva?" Another pause. Then she answered, not with words, but by showing him. In Elliot's mind he saw flashes. Memories. A little girl being pushed into a cold lab, needles, screaming, wires, a room with no windows. People walking past her, never stopping, loneliness, pain, fear. The vision ended, and Elliot fell to one knee, breathing heavily. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "That's horrible." Ziva looked at him with wide eyes. No one had ever said that to her. "You felt what I feel," she said softly, "and you didn't run away." Elliot looked into her eyes. "I won't, I promise." Suddenly, alarms blared through the station. A voice echoed through the speakers. "Security alert, human crew, report to Dock Bay 9 immediately." Elliot stood up. "That's me, I have to go." Ziva looked down. "They won't let you come back." "They never do." Elliot turned, then paused. He pulled something from his pocket, a small tool bracelet with mini repair drones. He gently placed it next to her. "For your arm," he said. "I'll fix it when I return." She looked up, confused. "Why?" He smiled. "Because no one deserves to stay broken." As he walked away, Ziva held the bracelet tightly in her hand. For the first time in her life, she felt something warm inside her chest. Hope. But unknown to them both, behind security screens, 2 alien officers watched the entire interaction. Their faces were grim. "She's connecting with a human," one said. "That cannot be allowed." The screen blinked red. "Activate protocol isolation. If the human returns, arrest him." Asterisk. The docking bay was crowded with noise, machines moving, engines humming, voices shouting. Elliot stood among his human team, pretending to listen to the alien officer giving orders. But his mind was somewhere else. It was still with Ziva. He Couldn't forget her eyes, tired but deep. Her voice in his mind, soft but broken. And the question she asked him, "Why are you not afraid of me?" It kept echoing in his thoughts. The rest of his crew didn't notice his silence. They were busy complaining about the station food and the strange alien smells, but Elliot was already planning to see her again, that night, while the others slept. Elliot quietly took a toolkit and slipped out of the crew quarters. He moved through the station's dark halls, careful not to draw attention. He didn't know security cameras were already watching him, far away. In the control room, 2 alien commanders stared at a screen. There, he's going back to her. Exactly. As we feared, the human is forming a connection. Shall we intercept? Not yet. Let's see what he does next. Elliot returned to the storage hall. The room looked the same, cold, forgotten, filled with broken machines. But she was there, in the same corner, sitting silently. Her eyes were closed, as if sleeping with her thoughts. He stepped closer and whispered, "Ziva, I came back." Her eyes opened slowly. She didn't move. She didn't speak, but in his mind he heard her. "Why?" He knelt beside her. "Because I made a promise." He opened his toolkit and took out a small device, a pulse calibrator. "Your arm," he said. "It's out of sync with your neural link. I can fix that." Ziva looked away. "Why help me?" "You get nothing," Elliot smiled softly. "Not everything needs payment. Sometimes we help because someone needs it." She was quiet, unsure. No one had ever helped her without a reason. As Elliot worked, she watched his hands. Gentle, focused, never afraid. His fingers moved across wires and ports like he wasn't touching a machine, but something alive. Then, for the first time, she asked him a question. "Do humans keep their broken ones?" He paused, surprised. "What do you mean?" "Where I come from," she said. "Anything broken is erased, replaced, rejected." Elliot looked into her eyes. "We don't erase our broken," he said. "We heal them, or we try." She stared at him, silent. He added, "Everyone breaks. It's how we put the pieces back that shows who we are." Ziva's voice trembled in his mind. "You speak like a healer, but you're an engineer." "I fix things," Elliot replied. "Maybe that's the same." As he reconnected the final circuit, Ziva's metal arm blinked, for the first time in years. She slowly raised it, opening and closing her fingers. Her eyes widened. A spark of something new appeared in them. Wonder. "It works," she whispered. Elliot nodded. "I told you I'd fix it." And then, for just a second, she smiled. It was small and uncertain but real. Back in the control room, alarms began to blink. One officer frowned. "Her neural activity is rising, stronger than ever." "She's stabilizing," said the other. "The human's repairs are improving her psychic connection." "That's not good," the first one hissed. "We must report to High Command." Back in the dark storage hall, Elliot sat beside Ziva on the floor. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "There was no need." Then Elliot asked, "Ziva, why do they fear you?" She looked down. "Because I was made in war." His heart dropped. "Made?" She nodded. "I am not a child of birth. I am a child of design. Built by scientists during the alien-human war, a mind weapon. A prototype that was never completed." Elliot's breath caught. "You're not a weapon," he said quietly. "You're a person." "They don't think so," she replied. "That's why they keep me here, silent, alone, to fade away." Elliot clenched his fists. "That's not right." She looked at him again. "But you came back." "No one ever comes back." "I'm not like them," Elliot said. "And you're not alone anymore?" Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed down the hall. Elliot turned. Shadows moved outside the door. Ziva's eyes went wide. "They're coming. Security?" She nodded. "They know you came back. You're not safe now." Elliot stood. "Then we leave, together." But Ziva shook her head. "I can't. They'll stop us. They'll lock you away, or worse." He stepped closer. "I won't let them hurt you." For a moment their eyes met, human and alien, both broken. "Both brave." She whispered. "Do you trust me?" Elliot smiled. "I already do." And then, Her eyes flashed. In an instant, the lights in the hall flickered. Security doors jammed, cameras shut down. A wave of telepathic energy pulsed through the metal walls. Elliot stared in shock. Did you do that? Ziva looked up. I don't want to be a weapon, she said. But I won't be a prisoner either. The hall was quiet again. The lights were dim. The security doors were frozen open. Elliot stood beside Ziva, his heart pounding. What she had just done wasn't normal. With a single thought, she had blocked an entire station's security system. Ziva sat still, breathing slowly. Her eyes glowed faintly. She looked at Elliot. I didn't mean to hurt anything. You didn't, Elliot said. But they're going to see it that way. He checked the hallway. No guards yet. But that wouldn't last long. We have to leave. Now? Ziva hesitated. Her voice came into his mind, unsure. Where would we go? Elliot thought for a second. I have access to the cargo area. There's a small transport ship docked for repairs. We can take it. They'll chase us, he nodded. Then we'll run faster. Across the station, in a high-level chamber, the alien commanders were already watching. She unlocked her powers. One said coldly, and the human helped. She's not stable. The human doesn't understand what she really is. An elder alien stepped forward, eyes glowing with authority. Then end it now, send a team, bring back the prototype, or destroy them both. Elliot and Ziva moved fast through service tunnels. She wore a cloak now, head down, hiding her face. Elliot carried his toolkit like always, only now it also carried stolen access cards and a map of the lower decks. As they walked, Elliot whispered, You said you were built for war. But I saw how you acted. You don't want to hurt anyone. I was made to find enemies by thought, Ziva replied. To shut their minds, to control machines with my brain. I was a secret weapon, but I failed their tests. I felt too much. I didn't want to kill. He looked at her. You didn't fail. You chose something better. They reached the cargo bay. Large crates floated silently under dim lights. In the far corner, an old transport shuttle was waiting, half rusted, half working. But it had an engine and it could fly. Let me power it up, Elliot said, but as he stepped forward, a red alarm flashed. Intruder detected, human and classified subject, do not move. From above, alien guards dropped from hidden doors. Their armor glowed, their weapons pointed. Step away from the prototype. One shouted. Eva froze. Elliot moved in front of her. She's not a prototype, she's a person. The guards didn't care. One raised his weapon. But then something changed. Ziva's eyes flashed blue. Time seemed to slow. One by one the guards stopped moving. Their hands froze mid-air. Their minds went blank. Their weapons dropped to the floor with soft huds. Elliot turned. Did you? Ziva's voice came quietly. I didn't control them. I paused their thoughts, only for a few seconds. Her body trembled. I can't hold it long. Elliot rushed to the shuttle door and pulled it open. Get in. They jumped inside. Elliot fired up the engine. The shuttle groaned and hissed, then slowly lifted off the ground. Behind them, the guards began to wake. Too late, the shuttle blasted out of the docking bay. Engines roaring. Inside the ship, Elliot checked the scanner. No trackers yet. We might be clear for now. Ziva sat in silence, staring out the window. Space stretched out before her, stars, planets. Open sky. I've never left the station, she said quietly. Elliot looked over. You're free now. I don't know what that means. He walked over and sat beside her. It means you get to choose, for once. You get to decide who you are. She didn't answer, but her eyes were wide with wonder. But the danger wasn't over. Back at the alien station, a massive warship began powering up. Black, silent, deadly. Inside the command center, the alien elder spoke coldly. Activate hunting protocol. Send the void spear. Destroy the transport if needed. We cannot allow the human to unlock her full power. Later, aboard the shuttle, Elliot was checking systems. Suddenly, Ziva held her head. She gasped. What is it? Elliot asked. They're coming, she said. I feel them, a warship. Bigger than anything I've ever touched before. It's watching us already. Elliot checked the sensors, nothing yet, but he trusted her. He stood up. Then we don't wait. He opened a hidden panel and revealed a small navigation cube. There's an old human outpost, abandoned but safe. No one knows it's still working. We go there. Ziva nodded slowly. I don't want to run forever. You won't, Elliot said. We'll find answers. We'll find help. As the stars moved past the window, Ziva sat quietly, and for the first time, she began to wonder who she really was, not what they built, but what she could become. The stars outside the shuttle glowed like a sea of diamonds. Elliot sat in the pilot's seat, hands steady on the controls. Beside him, Ziva watched the darkness, her eyes full of questions. She had never flown before, never left the metal halls of the station. Now she was moving through the universe, and she didn't know where she truly belonged. Are you okay? Elliot asked. She didn't look at him. There's too much space, she said. It feels ... Elliot glanced at her. You can feel it? Not with my body. With my mind. Space is full of thoughts, old signals, lost memories, radio waves. It's like millions of broken voices are whispering all at once. Elliot nodded slowly. We'll find quiet, I promise. She turned her head slightly. Do you always keep your promises? He smiled. I try. Behind them, in the cold dark, the alien warship Void Spear hunted silently. It was 3 times the size of Elliot's shuttle, built for tracking and elimination. Inside the ship, a tall alien commander stared at the target signal blinking on. The screen. The prototype is moving toward Sector 9. The officer said. Sector 9 is uncharted human territory, replied another. No contact zones, too many dead satellites. No matter, the commander growled. Lock target, prepare pulse cannon. Back on the shuttle, Elliot noticed a strange flicker on the radar. Something's close, he said. Ziva closed. Her voice came into his head. They're almost here. They've been watching for hours. They're hiding behind our blind spot, he frowned. You're sure? I can feel their hunger, cold, focused, like machines with hate. Elliot jumped to the control board. We can't outrun a warship in a straight line, but there's a chance. He tapped fast, opening an old map of Sector 9, a zone marked unreliable and dangerous. Hold on, he said. We're going into the storm. The shuttle spun and shot forward, diving into a region filled with space debris. Broken satellites, old escape pods, and dead stations from forgotten wars. The area was full of metal ghosts. Ziva's body TNSED. Elliot turned to her. What's wrong? She shook her head. There's pain here. So many minds ... left behind. I can feel their last moments. Try to block it out, he said gently. Focus on me. She took a breath, then nodded. Behind them, the Void Spear followed, but slower, inside its control room. The commander growled. They've gone into the graveyard. We risk damage to follow. A younger officer asked, Shall we wait? No, said the commander. She is too dangerous to live. Elliot flew fast, weaving between floating wrecks. Sparks flew as metal scraped their hull. One wrong move and they'd be space dust. We need cover, Elliot muttered. Something big enough to hide us. There, Ziva said, pointing. Not with her hand, but with her mind, Elliot followed her signal and turned sharply. A massive broken ship, half covered in ice and rock, floated ahead. They dove behind it and powered down. The shuttle went dark. Now we wait, Elliot whispered. In the silence, Ziva sat on the floor, knees pulled to her chest. Elliot? Yeah? I don't understand something. What? If I was built to destroy, why didn't I want to? Elliot looked at her seriously. Because you were also made to feel, and maybe that part was stronger. She stared at him. Her voice came softly. They told me feeling was weakness. They were wrong. She looked down. But I can't stop it. Every time I connect, I feel everything. Pain, fear, anger. He nodded. That's hard. But that also means you can feel hope. Kindness, love. She blinked as if the word love was foreign. And then a sharp alarm flashed on the dark console. They found us. Outside, the Void Spear hovered above, charging its pulse cannon. The commander gave the order. A beam of red energy shot through space, hitting the broken ship next to Elliot's shuttle. Metal exploded in every direction. Inside the shuttle, alarms blared. "We have to move," Elliot shouted. "But if we run," Ziva said, "they'll destroy us in the open." Elliot's eyes widened. "Then don't run." She looked at him, confused. "Fight back," he said. "But not with hate. With control." Ziva closed her eyes. Outside, the void spear charged a second shot. Suddenly, lights across the warship began to flicker. Systems failed. Engines stalled. Inside, the crew began to panic. Screens turned to static. Commands stopped working. Then, a voice echoed through every speaker on the ship. "Leave us alone." It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. But it was powerful. Ziva had connected to the warship systems. With her mind on the shuttle, her nose bled. Her body shook. Elliot grabbed her shoulders. "Stop, you're pushing too hard," she gasped. "They won't stop." "I have to show them I'm not afraid anymore." With one last surge, the Void Spear's mainframe crashed. The giant warship shut down completely, floating dead in space. Ziva collapsed in Elliot's arms. Minutes later, Elliot held her gently, checking her vitals. "You're okay," he whispered. "You did it." She opened her eyes slowly. "I didn't want to destroy them." "You didn't," Elliot smiled. "You just made them listen." Outside the window, the stars returned to silence. But now, the silence felt different. It felt free. The shuttle floated in silence. The warship behind them, the Void Spear, was no longer a threat. Its systems were offline. Its weapons were cold. The mighty ship that had chased them across space was now just metal, drifting quietly in the dark. Inside the shuttle, Elliot watched over Ziva. She lay on a soft bench, breathing slowly. Her eyes were closed. A small trail of blood had dried on her cheek. He had seen many machines break. He had seen people push too far. But this was something else. This was power. "With a heart, come back," he whispered. "I need you." After an hour, her fingers twitched. Then her eyes opened. Elliot leaned closer. "Hey, you're awake." She blinked slowly. Her voice came weakly into his mind. "Did we survive?" He smiled. "You didn't just survive, you saved us." She turned her head, looking out the window. The stars felt calmer now, quieter. "I didn't mean to push so hard," she said, "but I didn't want to be hunted anymore." "You did what you had to do," Elliot replied. "You didn't destroy them, you stopped them." "That's not weakness, that's control." Ziva closed her eyes again. For the first time, she felt something different inside her. Not fear, not pain, but strength. Her own strength. A few hours later, the shuttle arrived near a cold, rocky moon in Sector 9. Elliot tapped the console. "This is it, the human outpost." Old, hidden, and off every chart. From above, it looked like a dead moon. No lights, no movement. Just ice and stone, but as they flew closer, a small door opened in the side of a cliff. Automatic sensors. Still working after all these years? The shuttle entered a dark hangar carved into the rock. Lights flickered on as they landed. Ziva stepped out slowly. Her boots touched solid ground. The air smelled dry, but clean. She looked around. "No one's here," Elliot nodded. This place was built during the early war. A secret base for scientists and diplomats. When peace talks failed, it was abandoned. They moved through empty halls filled with dust and silence. Old screens, broken lab tables, and faded human flags lined the walls. Yet the system still had power. The lights worked. The doors responded. To Ziva, it felt strange. A place forgotten. By everyone? Except the machines. They reached the central control room. Elliot wiped dust off a console and powered up a nearby terminal. "Still working," he said. "This place is stronger than it looks." Ziva wandered around the room, her fingers brushing over old maps and photos. She stopped in front of a faded image, a group of smiling humans. Standing beside a small alien child, she stared at the child. It looked like her. "Elliot," he looked up. "Yeah?" She pointed at the photo. "This child. She was made like a May?" Elliot stood beside her and checked the label under the image. "Project Bridgewalker, he read aloud. First prototype of interspecies empathy design. Created for peace, not war. His eyes widened. That's you. Ziva's breath caught. You mean I was never built to destroy? Elliot shook his head. They twisted your story. Your purpose was to connect, not to kill. She stared at the photo again. Then why did they call me a failure? Because fear is easier than trust, Elliot said softly. And peace is harder than war. That night, Ziva sat alone in the observatory, a wide room with a glass ceiling showing stars above. She reached out with her mind, not to attack, but to listen. And for the first time, the voices in her head didn't scream. They whispered gently, echoes of past messages, old signals, peaceful songs lost in the void. She smiled. Elliot entered quietly and sat beside her. What do you hear? He asked. Not pain, she said. Not fear. Just stars. They sat in silence, watching the sky. Suddenly, the console buzzed in the other room. Elliot rushed to check it. A signal was blinking, weak, distant, but human. He played the message. A woman's voice came through the static. This is Beacon. Station calling any nearby units. We received an energy spike from Sector 9. Please respond. Is anyone alive out there? Elliot looked at Ziva. They found us, he said. Someone saw what you did. Will they chase us too? I don't think so, he said. This is a science signal. Maybe they want to help? Ziva's voice was steady now. Then let's tell them the truth. She walked up to the console. For the first time in her life, she chose to speak out loud. Her voice was soft but clear. I am Ziva, she said. I was built for peace. I was forgotten, but I am still here. The message was sent. Elliot smiled. You've awakened more than your powers. He said. Ziva looked out the window again. I've awakened myself. Asterisk. The lights inside the old outpost flickered as the signal faded into silence. Ziva stood still, her hand resting on the console. She had spoken her name to the galaxy, not with fear, but with strength. It was the first time she had chosen to be seen. Elliot walked over, eyes still on the screen. You did it, he said. You reached out? Ziva looked unsure. What if I made a mistake? Elliot shook his head. The only mistake would be hiding forever. She didn't reply. But deep inside, something felt different, like a wall had cracked. And light was finally coming through. Hours passed. No response. Then, just before sunrise on the moon, a second signal came. This is Dr. Mara Lane, Human Science Coalition. We received your message. We know your name. We know your project. Stay where you are. Help is coming. Elliot read the signal 3 times. Dr. Lane. She was part of the original empathy project. She worked on Bridgewalker, on you. Ziva's hands trembled. She knows me? Elliot smiled. She might. Know more about you than anyone. For a moment, Ziva didn't know how to feel. Happy, nervous, scared. But one thing was clear. Answers were coming. Later that day, a sleek white ship landed near the outpost. It was smaller than the warship, clean and unarmed. A human science vessel. A team of 5 people stepped out, wearing light suits and friendly faces. At the front was a tall woman with silver-streaked hair and a tablet in her hand. I'm Dr. Lane, she said. Her eyes met Ziva's and widened. It's really you, she whispered. After all these years? Ziva didn't speak. But her eyes asked 1,000 questions. They gathered in the outpost's control room. Elliot stood close to Ziva, protective but calm. Dr. Lane placed a small device on the table and tapped it. A 3D hologram appeared, files, blueprints, test logs. All of them were labeled. Project, Bridgewalker Subject, 01. Ziva stared at the glowing image of herself. Younger, smaller, but unmistakable. Dr. Lane began to explain. You were designed not as a weapon, but as a bridge between humans and alien minds. Telepathic peacekeepers who could prevent war before it began. She paused, lowering her voice. But when the program was stolen by the alien empire, everything changed. Ziva spoke quietly. They told me I was broken. A failed weapon. Dr. Lane shook her head. You weren't broken. You were kind. That scared them. She brought up an old video, blurry but clear enough. A younger Ziva sat in a test room surrounded by alien scientists. She refused to follow a violent command. Instead, she shielded a small animal from harm. They wanted control, Dr. Lane said. But you made your own choices. That's why they erased the truth. That's why they hid you. Ziva looked down. Her voice was a whisper in Elliot's mind. I thought I was a mistake. Elliot placed a hand on her shoulder. You were the only one who was right. Dr. Lane leaned forward. Ziva, your brain is unlike any other. You don't just read thoughts, you understand emotion. You can link with systems, control signals, even rewrite data with your mind. You're not just a prototype. You're the final key to peace. Ziva looked uncertain. But I hurt people. I stopped the warship. You didn't hurt them. Dr. Lane said, you stopped them without killing. That's exactly what Bridgewalker was meant to do. Outside the room, one of the science officers rushed in. Dr. Lane, incoming message. It's from the Alien High Council. They've tracked her signal. Elliot stepped forward. We have to move. Dr. Lane shook her head. No, this is our chance. She looked at Ziva. Do you want to hide again? Or do you want them to see who you really are? Minutes later, Ziva stood in front of a camera. Live transmission, no script. No shield, the galaxy was watching. She took a deep breath. I am Ziva, she said. I was made by both humans and aliens. But I was not made to destroy. I was made to connect, to understand, to protect. She looked into the lens, into millions of eyes. I was told I was broken. But I have seen kindness. I have seen fear. I have felt what war feels like. And I choose peace. In the Alien Council chambers, silence fell. The oldest counselor, who once called for her termination, lowered his head. We were wrong, he said. She is not the weapon. She is the cure. Back in the outpost, Elliot and Ziva sat side by side. Outside, the stars shimmered. You changed everything. Elliot said. Ziva looked at him. No, she whispered. We did. The stars over the moon outpost were quiet. But the galaxy was no longer the same. Across human and alien space, Ziva's message played again and again. Her voice, soft but steady, had touched billions. Newsfeeds called her the voice between worlds. Some feared her. Others called her a miracle, but no one ignored her anymore. Inside the outpost, Elliot stood at the main console, watching signals flood in. Messages from humans, from aliens, even from people who once wanted her erased. She did it, he whispered, behind him. Ziva walked slowly into the room. Her steps were stronger. Now, Dr. Lane turned toward her, holding a small device. Ziva, the council sent a request. They want to meet you, peacefully. Not as a prisoner, but as an equal. Ziva looked unsure. After all they did, after all they tried to erase? They know the truth now, Lane said. And truth changes everything. Elliot stepped beside her. You don't have to go. Not unless you want to. Ziva was silent. Her eyes moved to the stars through the glass ceiling. She could still hear the thoughts of distant minds. Not screaming now, but whispering with hope. Then I'll go, she said, but on my terms. 3 days later, a new ship arrived at the moon base. It carried no weapons. Only delegates, human and alien. Inside the old outpost hall, a long table was prepared. Ziva entered alone. She wore no armor, no device. Just a simple robe and a calm heart. The delegates stood. Some were nervous. Some ashamed. The lead alien counselor stepped forward, the same one who once ordered her captured. He lowered his head. We came to see you. Not the prototype, not the tool, but the person. Ziva looked around. Are you ready to listen? Yes, he replied. She stepped to the center of the room. No speech. No script. Instead, she opened her mind, just enough for all of them to feel her presence, not to control, not to threaten, but to share. And what they felt shocked them. Not anger, not hatred. But deep sadness and deep understanding. Memories passed between them like waves. Her years in the dark, her fear, her hope, Elliot's kindness. The moment she chose peace over destruction. Tears filled the eyes of even the coldest delegates. One human whispered, we were looking for weapons. And we found a heart. The talks lasted hours. When they ended, a decision was made. Ziva would not be hidden again. She would not be studied or feared. She would be something new, the first Mind Ambassador of the Galactic Alliance, a bridge between species, between thoughts, between futures. Weeks passed. Ziva trained in a peaceful space colony, learning how to control her power without pain. Elliot stayed by her side, helping her build new tools to guide her mind safely. You were always more than they believed, he told her once. She replied, I just needed someone to believe it first. Her first mission came quickly. A planet near the edge of alien territory had fallen into conflict. Two species arguing over land, old treaties broken. Tension rising. War was near. Ziva arrived alone. No soldiers. No threats. Only her mind. And her choice. She entered the hall where the leaders shouted over each other. Then she reached out, one thought at a time, one emotion at a time. She let them feel each other. The fear. The misunderstanding. The tiredness of centuries. And slowly, the room quieted. Back at the Alliance command. Elliot watched the live feed as both sides signed a new peace agreement. She did it again. Dr. Lane said, smiling. No, Elliot replied, she's just getting started. Later, in a quiet room aboard a peaceful station, Ziva looked out at the stars again. She still heard the galaxy, its noise, its pain, its beauty, but it no longer crushed her. Now she understood it, and it understood her. Elliot joined her at the window. What are you thinking? He asked. She didn't answer at first. Then she smiled softly. I used to think I was made to be alone. He waited. But I was made to connect. That was always the truth. He nodded, and now the galaxy knows it too. She looked into the stars. I'm not the weapon they feared. I'm the bridge they needed.